it's time for us to have a final conversation with Titilola Vivour-Adeniyi. We've been talking about sexual assault. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and now we're also thrashing it because earlier we did mention that this is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And we have an expert with us. Joining us via Zoom this morning is Titilola Vivour-Adeniyi. All right, I'm not alone, though. I've got the ladies here. Yeah. We're going to be having this conversation together with Lola. Now, there are several angles when you talk about sexual assault. However, many people do not even know what constitutes as sexual assault. A lot of people gloss over it. Does catcalling constitute? Does it not? Does pulling a lady's hand in the market, for example, or giving a slight slap on her behind or her back, does it constitute sexual assault? The debate has been on for a very long time, and that's why we're hoping to be able to straighten that out this morning. Yes. It's a pleasure to have you with us this morning, Titilola. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. So here we have Mary, Winfrey, and Rume. So three of us will be having this conversation with you. So my name is Mary. Winfrey's here, and Rume as well. Okay, so
lovely to meet you guys.
It's our pleasure. So tell us, Titilola, what constitutes as sexual assault? That's the big question here.
Okay, so sexual assault is basically engaging in any sexual activity without the consent of the other party. That's sexual assault simpliciter. Basically engaging in any sexual activity without the consent of the other party. Now, there is a proviso to that, because when we're dealing with children, so any person below the age of 18, the issue, the ingredient of consent does not come in. It's not in the picture, because the law presumes that a child who is a person below the age of 18 lacks the capacity to give consent to any form of sexual activity or sexual relationship, right? So excluding children, when we're talking about adults, people above the age of 18, any sexual activity, touching, groping, harassment, full-blown penetration, any sexual activity that occurs without the consent of the other party is referred to as sexual assault or sexual violence.
Okay, so just for clarity's sake, I know you said, touching, groping, any sexual activity. So now, yes. Of course, we've spoken about catcalls. I know we've also mentioned the fact that sometimes you probably go to the market to do certain things, even sometimes in the office, sometimes just generally where you have people interacting, and then someone is literally pulling your arm or saying fine girl or touching your face, that kind of thing. So now, when we talk about sexual activity, is this specifically directed at a particular body part or a particular body areas, or is this the intention in the person's mind that now makes it a sexual activity? I don't know if you get my question.
I do. Okay, so let me use this opportunity to list the different forms of sexual assault, so perhaps that will bring a bit more clarity to the discourse. So we have, and it's important for us to realize that these are legal terminologies, right? So we talk about, because they are legal terminologies, I have to make reference to the enabling law, which is for us in Lagos State, the Criminal Law of Lagos State 2015. Now, Chapter 25 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State relates to all things sexual offenses. So Section 260 provides for the offense of rape. And it says that any man who has unlawful sexual intercourse with a woman or girl without her consent is guilty of a felony, liable to imprisonment for life. For rape, it has to be a man. Only a man can rape a woman. And it has to be sexual intercourse, the male genitalia into the female genitalia. So that's the offense of rape. Then we have the offense of sexual assault by penetration. And that one is not limited to the male genitalia into the female genitalia. It is any penetration into the opening of another person. So we're talking about all the holes of the body. As far as there's penetration, not limited or restricted to the male genitalia. It can be digits through the finger, it can be an object. As far as there's a penetration and insertion, without the consent of the other party, guilty of a felony, liable to imprisonment for life. Then we have Section 262 that talks about the offense of attempt you attempt to commit rape, you attempt to sexually assault by penetration another person. The fact that you attempted, that is an offense, punishable by up to 14 years imprisonment. Then you have section 263 that talks about sexual assault. So as you said, you're in the market, people are pulling you, touching you inappropriately. As far as that does not involve penetration, that is an offense, punishable by up to 3 years imprisonment.
Wow.
Then you have section 260. Yes, so.
Now, when I get to the market, all those guys, I'm like, do you know this is punishable by
3
law?
years.
3 years. You're playing with 3 years.
It's an offense.
3 years.
They don't know.
3 years. Yes. But unfortunately, ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
But we, as government, we also know that we have a duty to keep on advocating, shedding light on these issues so that the letters of the law can come alive.
Yes.
Then you have section 264, which provides for the offense of sexual harassment. As you said, you're in the office, catcalling. So people can literally undress you with their eye. The fact that there is no contact, innuendos, oh, your derriere is looking so juicy in that dress. It can come off as a compliment. If you are not careful, you may have even said thank you. And then you catch yourself that, this is harassment. It is unsolicited request for sexual favors. And when I turn them down, you proceed to make my environment hostile and offensive. And this is not limited to the work environment. It also extends to schools, right? Yes. Back in the days, we used to think it was just universities. But we're seeing this even in primary school.
Yeah.
Wow. Sexual harassment taking place in primary and secondary schools, right? So that's the offense of sexual harassment. And it's punishable by up to 3 years imprisonment.
Okay, fantastic. I mean, we don't have a lot of time, and I know that we definitely need to get to the meat of this. But then, if something like this has happened to you, what do you do? What is that first response that you need to take to ensure that, see, they need to be punishable by law? They have to do that.
Immediately, the survivor is a literal crime scene in motion. We said they should go present at a designated health facility where they can access medical attention. Unfortunately, when it comes to sexual violence cases, it is quite difficult to establish in the absence of real evidence. Because it's not a tea party that you say, come, I'm being raped. More often than not, it's going to be about, you did it, I did not do it. And because the punishment is so severe, life imprisonment, the prosecution must prove its case beyond all reasonable doubt. Right? So it's important for the survivor to present at the nearest designated health facility where head-to-toe forensic medical examination will be done, collection of evidence, but more importantly, they are able to access medical attention. There is a particular drug, PEP, post-exposure prophylaxis, that should be administered within 72 hours of exposure. That reduces chances of contracting HIV, STI, and STDs. There are pregnancy tests. There are other forms of medication that will be prescribed. So it's not just that we're focused on jailing the suspect. We're more interested in the survival. But we know that aside from providing treatment and rehabilitation in terms of psychosocial support, there is a need for these perpetrators to be held accountable. And one of the ways they will be held accountable is when we're able to prove that indeed this person did it. So in a nutshell, what we are saying is, please immediately present at a designated health facility. In Lagos State, we have the comprehensive primary health care centers, we have the general hospitals, we have the sexual assault referral centers. Upon presentation at these different facilities, survivors are able to access free head-to-toe medical examination and treatment, to support them on their road to healing. So after that is done, then we say this is a crime, right? And it's the police that would investigate. I know some of us have hesitations about the police, but what we've done in Lagos State and what we continue to do is to strengthen the capacity of the police to be able to investigate. I always say that cases are not won in court. Cases are won at investigation. It is the duty of the investigative police officer to link the suspect to the crime, right? So that is done at investigation. And so what we've done in partnership with the Lagos State Police Command is to have designated police formations, referred to as family support units. We currently have about 23 of them, coordinated by the gender desk Lagos State Police Command.
I mean, well done. Well done.
Your efforts
all of
are
that.
very commendable.
Yes, yes.
Titilola Vivour-Adeniyi, aka Merchant of Hope, because you bring a lot of hope to survivors with all that you do. Thank you so much for your time. It's been quite an interesting conversation. There's a lot that could be learned from that. Yeah. Thank you indeed.
Thank you so much. I wish we had more time, but
yes,
really,
because we actually need the contact. I mean, it's not about just talking about it. We need to actually know how they can actually reach out, just in case someone is watching who wants to do that.
And yes, we also get to talk about the food.
Okay.
So yeah, because you see, life goes on. Sad as that is.
So, Chef, can we? What did
Chef
you make for us?
WUN,
Do you want to put it?
What did you make for us for breakfast?
So here we have our herb hummus with sautéed beef.
Chef, is that you don't want to give us?
As in, I was beginning to wonder. Hummus.
So I Rumi take a scoop with the beef and then pass it to Mary.
So
let's share this.
Oh yeah, let's share this.
Let's share this.
We use the nachos sauce.
Okay,
the nachos to
so
scoop.
Nachos.
Okay.
And then,
just like
are we ready? Are we going to cheers?
Yes, of course we're going to cheers.
Cheers.
See.
Oh, I didn't have some beef. Cheers.
Oh,
we're doing cheers, Mary.
cheers, my darling.
Cheers. Oh, that's beautiful.
This is so good.
Thank you.
Oh my God, amazing.
Well done, Chef. That's really, really good. Oh, very flavorful.
Yeah.
This is good.
This is very good.
All right, thank you to everyone who has been on the show this morning. It's been wonderful having you on our Wonder Women Wednesday edition.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to join us again tomorrow, bright and early, 7 a.m. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching Wake Up Nigeria.